Last week I watched two men walk into my clinic on the same day, same age, both 63. The first man walked in slowly. He gripped the door frame to steady himself. He sat down carefully like he was afraid his own body might betray him. When I asked how he was doing, he said, "Dr. Narita, I'm just getting old." The second man walked in like he owned the building. He sat down without hesitation. His eyes were sharp. His grip was firm when we shook hands. When I asked how he was doing, he smiled and said, "I'm just getting started." Same age, completely different men, and the difference between them had nothing to do with luck, nothing to do with genetics. It came down to 7 specific abilities, 7 things one man could still do and the other had quietly stopped doing years ago. If you can still do these 7 things, you are not just surviving your 60s, you are dominating them. Here is what most men over 60 have been told directly or indirectly by the world around them. That decline is inevitable, that weakness is just what happens, that the best years are behind them, and the only job left is to manage the fall gracefully. I am here to tell you that is one of the most dangerous lies a man can believe. My name is Dr. Narita. I have spent 12 years working with men over 60 in clinical practice, and what I have seen over and over again is that age does not weaken men. Stopping does. So, let us find out exactly where you stand right now, today. I am going to walk you through 7 abilities, 7 specific tests. As I go through each one, I want you to be completely honest with yourself. Not because this is a judgment, but because awareness, real, honest awareness, is the first step toward either protecting what you have or rebuilding what you have lost. And here is the most important thing I need you to understand before we begin. Every single one of these abilities is trainable at 60, at 70, at 80. None of them are fixed. All of them are within your control. Let us begin. Marker number 1, the rising test, your functional strength. Can you get up off the floor without using your hands? Not slowly, not using a chair, not rolling to the side and pushing yourself up with both arms. Straight up from sitting on the floor using your legs alone. Try it right now if you can. Because if you can do this easily without hesitation, you are already ahead of more than 65% of men your age. This is not a party trick. Researchers in Brazil studied over 2,000 men and women and found that the ability to get up from the floor without support is one of the strongest single predictors of how long a man will live. Not how far he can run, not how much he can lift, this one movement. Why? Because it requires leg strength, hip mobility, core stability, and balance all working together at the same time. It reveals your total functional reserve, the engine your body uses to keep you independent, active, and alive. In my 12 years working with men over 60, I have seen this test reveal more about a man's true health than almost any lab result I have ever ordered. If you struggle just now, do not panic. Start sitting on the floor every single day. Not on the couch, not on the bed, the floor. Make your body remember what it already knows how to do. Marker number 2, the walking test, your heart and joint vitality. Can you still walk for 30 minutes without your joints stopping you? Not running, not hiking, walking 30 continuous minutes. No stopping because your knees gave out, no sitting down because your hips seized, no breathlessness that forces you to the nearest bench. If you can walk for 30 minutes and feel capable, not destroyed at the end, your cardiovascular system and your musculoskeletal system are still communicating the way they are supposed to. This matters more than almost any other marker I will share with you today because walking is the foundation of independence. It determines whether you can travel, whether you can visit your grandchildren without counting steps, whether you can move through the world on your own terms. I have sat with men in my clinic who told me they stopped walking regularly because their joints hurt a little. 5 years later, they could barely walk to the end of their street. The joint did not destroy the walking. Stopping the walking destroyed the joint. Men who can walk freely live freely. It is that simple. If 30 minutes is too much right now, start with 10. Add 2 minutes every week. Your body will adapt faster than you think because it was built for this. Marker number 3, the wanting test, your sense of purpose. Can you still wake up most mornings wanting something? Not every morning. Not perfect mornings. Most mornings. A project you are working on, a person you want to see, a problem you want to solve, a place you want to go, something that pulls you out of bed with a sense of direction rather than pushing you out of bed with obligation. This is the marker most men never expect to see on a list like this, but I am putting it here because in 12 years of clinical practice, I have watched purpose decline kill men faster than almost any disease. When a man loses his sense of wanting, when every morning feels the same, flat, without pull, his cortisol rises, his testosterone drops, his immune system weakens, his cardiovascular health deteriorates. The body follows the mind into surrender. But when a man wakes up with something to move toward, every biological system in his body gets the signal, keep going. We are not done yet. If you have lost your sense of wanting, start small. Find one thing this week. 1. A book, a project, a person. Wanting is a muscle. Use it. Before I continue, where are you watching from today? Drop your city in the comments below. I am Dr. Narita and I read every single one. Now, let us keep going. Marker number 4, the grip test, your physical power. Can you still carry your own groceries with both arms and not feel it for 3 days? 2 full bags, 1 in each hand, up the stairs and into the kitchen. If you can do this without your arms shaking, without your back seizing, without needing to sit down immediately after, your grip strength, your shoulder stability, and your posterior chain are still functioning at a level that most men your age have already lost. Grip strength is one of the most studied markers of aging in all of medical science. Study after study shows that the strength of a man's grip predicts his risk of heart attack, his cognitive decline, his risk of disability, and his lifespan more accurately than his blood pressure in some populations. I have seen this in my own patients over 12 years. The men with strong hands are almost always the men who are still living independently, still driving themselves, still doing things for other people instead of needing things done for them. Your hands tell the whole story. Strong hands means strong muscles, strong connective tissue, a strong nervous system. Grip does not lie. If your grip has weakened, start squeezing a rubber ball, a hand gripper, a rolled-up towel, 2 minutes a day. The research on how fast grip strength responds to training will genuinely surprise you. Marker number 5, the memory test, your brain sharpness. Can you still remember the name of someone you met last week? Not a lifelong friend, not someone you see every day, someone you met once, 7 days ago. Can you recall their name without someone prompting you? If yes, your hippocampus, the brain's memory and learning center, is still forming and retrieving new neural connections efficiently. You are still capable of learning, of engaging, of being fully present in new conversations rather than nodding along pretending to follow. Most men accept memory fog as an inevitable part of aging. It is not. And as a doctor, I want to be very clear about this. Forgetting names, misplacing things, living in a mental haze, these are symptoms, not sentences. They are signals that your brain is not getting what it needs. Blood flow, sleep, stimulation, and challenge. In 12 years of practice, I have watched men recover mental sharpness they thought was gone forever, simply by moving their bodies, fixing their sleep, and giving their brain something worth thinking about. The fastest way to protect your memory is also the cheapest. Move your body every day. Learn one new thing every week. Have real conversations, not just background noise. Your brain is plastic at 60, 70, and beyond. It changes based on what you do with it. Use it like you intend to keep it. Marker number 6, the composure test, your emotional strength. Can you still have a difficult conversation without shutting down or exploding? Someone challenges you, disagrees with you, disappoints you, tells you something you do not want to hear. Can you stay in the room? Can you listen without going cold? Can you speak without going nuclear? This is emotional regulation, and it is one of the most underrated markers of a strong man over 60. Many men reach their 60s carrying decades of unexpressed frustration, grief, and disappointment, and the body keeps the score. Chronic emotional suppression raises cortisol levels, damages arterial walls, disrupts sleep, and accelerates cognitive decline. A man who cannot regulate his emotions is not just difficult to be around, he is actively harming his own biology. I have had patients come to me with chest pain, high blood pressure, chronic insomnia, and when we sat down and talked, the real diagnosis was 40 years of emotions that had nowhere to go. But a man who can sit in discomfort, who can hear hard things and respond with clarity, that man has built something most men never develop, emotional strength. And it is a genuine predictor of longevity. If this is your weak marker, start simple. When you feel reactive, breathe before you speak. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. It sounds small. The physiological effect is not small. Marker number 7, the presence test, your vitality and impact. Can you still make other people feel better just by being in the room? Not because you are entertaining them, not because you are fixing their problems, but simply because you are there. Do people relax around you? Do they open up? Do they feel safe? When you walk into a gathering, does the energy shift positively or do people tense up and brace themselves? This is the invisible marker that most medical professionals never mention, but I am telling you right now, it may be the most important one of all. A man who brings peace into a room is a man who has done the internal work. He has processed his own pain. He has made peace with his own story. He is not bringing his unhealed wounds into every interaction. And that internal peace shows up in his biology. Lower cortisol, better heart rate variability, stronger immune function, more stable blood pressure. But it also shows up in his relationships. People want to be around him. They call him. They visit him. They include him. And that social connection, as we talked about in the last video, is one of the most powerful longevity medicines in existence. If people do not relax around you, if you feel like you are constantly pushing others away or making them uncomfortable, that is not a moral failure. It is a signal. It means there is unresolved weight inside you. And the good news is you can do something about it. Start by listening more than you speak. Start by sitting with your own discomfort instead of running from it. Start by forgiving yourself and others for the things that have been festering for decades. That work is hard, but it is also the work that will give you back your life. So let me ask you again, not as a doctor, but as someone who genuinely cares about the men in this community. Which of these 7 markers is your strongest? And more importantly, which one is your weakest? Because that weak marker is not a verdict. It is a doorway. It is the place where your next level of growth is waiting for you. The man who walked into my clinic slowly, gripping the doorframe, he was not destined for that. He arrived there through thousands of small choices to stop moving, stop wanting, stop connecting, stop growing. And the man who walked in like he owned the building, he was not born that way. He arrived there through thousands of small choices to keep going, to keep challenging himself, to keep showing up for his own life. Same age. Same genetics. Completely different trajectories. And the difference was not luck. It was intention. You are 60, 63, 67, 70. It does not matter. Your body is still listening. Your brain is still plastic. Your heart is still capable. But you have to give them something to work with. You have to stand up. You have to walk. You have to want. You have to grip. You have to remember. You have to breathe. You have to show up in a way that makes other people feel better just because you are there. That is not a checklist. That is a life. And the beauty of it is that every single one of these abilities is trainable. Not tomorrow. Today. Right now. Start with one. Just one. And watch what happens when your body realizes you are not done yet. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.